Hello dear friends, welcome back again to another video from my YouTube channel. Dear friends, in our previous video we discussed about the oogenesis process and we have also seen the structure of mature ovum in the last videos. In this video we're going to discuss about one more very interesting, one more very important and one more very unique type of concept that comes under the female reproductive system, that is menstrual cycles. Menstrual cycle. This menstrual cycle, it is also called as ovarian cycle. Ovarian cycle. It is also known as ovarian cycle. Now, if you recall your first year PUC Animal Kingdom chapter, in that animal kingdom, the animals are classified into various phylums. The animals are classified into various classes. In these classification of animals, the most advanced class of animal is Mammalia, my dear friends. Class mammals. The animals which comes under class Mammalia, they show a particular characteristic feature. What is that particular characteristic features? Mammals, they have the mammary glands to feed their young one with the breast milk. And the second very important characteristic feature of mammals, particularly the female mammals, is that the female mammals, they exhibit the reproductive cycle. Let us understand the menstrual cycle in detail. Mammals, particularly the female mammals, I am talking about, female mammals exhibit the reproductive cycle. Female mammals, they exhibit the reproductive cycles. Mammals are classified into again two different subgroups. What are the two very important groups of mammals? The first group of mammal is primates. And the second group of mammals are non-primates. Primates and non-primates, they are the two categories of the mammal, class Mammalia. Now, female primates, they show a particular reproductive cycle. Its name is menstrual cycle. Whereas the female non-primates, they show oostress cycle. Now, what are the examples for primates and what are the examples for non-primates? Primates' best examples are human beings, apes, chimpanzees, gorillas, they are all the examples for the female or primates. What are the examples for non-primates? Non-primates' best examples are cow, goat, sheep, buffaloes, cats, dogs, they are all the examples for non-primates. That means the human female, they show menstrual cycles. Whereas cow, goat, sheep, buffalo, they all show the oostress cycle. We have seen the difference between menstrual cycle and the oostress cycle in our first chapter of second year PUC. we are discussing about the human reproduction, my dear friends. Particularly, we are discussing about the female human reproductive system. That means human beings, they show the menstrual cycle. What do you mean by menstrual cycle? This menstrual cycle, it is derived from, this word menstrual is derived from a Latin word mensem. Mensem is the word from where we have taken the menstrual word. Mensem means 1 month. 1 month. Hence, menstrual cycle, it is also called as monthly cycle. Monthly cycle. Why it is called as monthly cycle? Because to complete this entire cycle, approximately 1 month is required. That is why it is called as monthly cycle. This 1 month, it is approximately 28 to 29 days. To complete one menstrual cycle in the female primates, approximately 28 to 29 days are required. Now, menstrual cycle begins at puberty. When the puberty hits the female, at that time, so many hormones get secreted in the body of the female human being. As a result of that, the menstrual cycle starts. That means, menstrual cycle is the classical indication to determine the puberty in case of females. Puberty can be determined, puberty can be decided by looking at the menstrual cycles. So, menstrual cycles begins at puberty. अब इतना सारा डिस्कशन करने के बाद एक चीज क्लियर हो गई कि मेंस्ट्रुअल साइकिल सिर्फ और सिर्फ फीमेल ह्यूमन बींग्स में होता. दूसरी चीज क्या क्लियर हो गई? मेंस्ट्रुअल साइकिल जैसे ही वो लड़की जवान होती तब उसके अंदर मेंस्ट्रुअल साइकिल होना स्टार्ट होता. अब ये मेंस्ट्रुअल साइकिल प्यूबर्टी के टाइम पे स्टार्ट हो रहा. तो प्यूबर्टी कब आ रही फीमेल के अंदर? When the female is getting sexually matured, particularly at the age, on an average, at the age of 13 years. 13 years. Average 11 to 13 years. In between this age, the girl is getting sexually matured. At that time, the menstrual cycles begins. अब ये menstrual cycle start होना मतलब वो लड़की जवान हो गई बोल के हम अब डिटरमाइन कर सकते. This menstrual cycle, it is a monthly cycle that takes approximately 28 to 29 days. ये चीज क्लियर हो गई. अब प्यूबर्टी के टाइम पे हो रहा. अब प्यूबर्टी के टाइम पे असल में क्या होता? बहुत सारे हार्मोन सीक्रेट होते फीमेल की बॉडी में. एज अ रिजल्ट ऑफ दैट कौन से हार्मोन सीक्रेट होते? LH सीक्रेट होता, FSH सीक्रेट हो रहा, प्रोजेस्टेरॉन सीक्रेट हो रहा है, ईस्ट्रोजेंस बन रहे. अब ये सारे हार्मोन्स की वजह से फीमेल की बॉडी के अंदर एक साइक्लिक चेंज आ जाता. साइकिल क्यों बुला रहे हम इसको? साइकिल क्यों बुला रहे? क्योंकि ये रिपीटेडली चलना, इसीलिए हम इसको साइकिल बोल के बुला रहे हैं. अब ये रिप्रोडक्टिव साइकिल और मेंस्ट्रुअल साइकिल फीमेल्स के अंदर प्यूबर्टी में जो शुरू हो रहा, दैट फर्स्ट मेंस्ट्रुअल साइकिल. सपोज हियर वी हैव अ गर्ल. जस्ट नाउ कंसिडर दिस गर्ल जस्ट नाउ गेट सेक्सुअली मैच्योर्ड. अब जस्ट इन्हें सेक्सुअली मैच्योर हो गई समझो. She is a girl. The first menstruation, जब पहली बार menstrual cycle होता, puberty hit करने के बाद, first time जब menstrual cycle होता, the first menstrual cycle, the first menstruation, the first menstruation or menstrual cycle after puberty. जैसा ही लड़की जवान हुई उसके अंदर सबसे पहला जो menstrual cycle हो रहा, that menstrual cycle or that onset of menstrual cycle, it is called as menarche. It is called as menarche. The first menstrual cycle or the first menstruation after puberty, it is called as menarche. Very, 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 very important for both board as well as for competitive exams. Menarche. What is menarche? The first menstrual cycle after puberty, it is called as menarche. Now, अब ये menstrual cycle females के अंदर हर month चलता, हर month होता. Every month there is a cyclic change. Every month it is getting repeated. It is getting repeated. अब ये menstrual cycle कितने दिनों तक चलता एक female की body में? अब ये लड़की जवान हुई, शादी हुई, अब ये लड़की बूढ़ी हो गई. क्या ये बूढ़ी औरत में भी menstrual cycle होता? नहीं. Menstrual cycle, it starts at the puberty and it gets stopped at a particular age in females. That the menstrual cycle or menstruation, the menstruation ceases. That menstruation or stops. The menstruation stops at the age of 50 years. जैसे ही औरत 50 साल की हो गई, अब उसके अंदर menstrual cycle होना रुक गया. That cessation, that stopping of menstrual cycle at the age of 50, it is called as menopause. देखो pause हो रहा है यहाँ पे, रुक रहा. Menopause. Meno means menstrual cycle. Arche means beginning. Meno means menstrual cycle. Arche means beginning of menstrual cycle. For the first time after puberty, it is called as menarche. जैसे ही वो लड़की 50 साल की हो गई, अब उसको लड़की नहीं बोल रहे, बूढ़ी बोल रहे. तो 50 साल की होने के बाद, then the menstrual cycle, they get stopped. Then it is that process or that stopping of menstrual cycle phenomenon, it is called as menopause. Menstrual cycle continues from puberty up to the age of 50 years. Up to the age of 50 years. Up in between this puberty and up to the age of 50 years, at some complicated situations, the menstrual cycle, it stops. Menstrual cycle is absent. Menstrual cycle is absent in some of the situations, like during pregnancy. अगर एक लड़की, एक औरत अगर प्रेग्नेंट है, ऐसे प्रेग्नेंट औरत के अंदर मेंस्ट्रुअल साइकिल्स नहीं होते. ड्यूरिंग प्रेगनेंसी देयर इज नो मेंस्ट्रुअल साइकिल. एंड ड्यूरिंग लैक्टेशन पीरियड, अगर एक माँ अपने बच्चे को दूध पिला रही, that period is called as a lactation period. During lactation period also, there is no menstrual cycle. During pregnancy also, there is no menstrual cycle. And in some complicated situations like during stress, अगर लड़की बहुत ज्यादा स्ट्रेस में है, तब भी menstrual cycles नहीं होते. और during stress or during less immunity, अगर वो लड़की की इम्यूनिटी कम हो गई, तब भी menstrual cycles नहीं होते. In all these situations, there is a absence of menstrual cycle. Otherwise, the menstrual cycle continues up to the 50 years that has started at puberty. Puberty से शुरू होके 50 साल तक continuously menstrual cycle चलते रहता. अगर ये situations आ गए तब menstrual cycles रुक जा रहे. Now, this menstrual cycles, to understand in a better way, these can be divided into 4 phases. Menstrual cycle has divided into 4 different phases for our understanding, for our study purpose. The first phase of the menstrual cycle, it is called as menstrual phase. Menstrual phase. Then the second phase, it is follicular phase. This is the second phase. Then the third phase, it is ovulatory phase. And the last phase, fourth phase I am writing here, fourth phase, it is called as luteal phase. Now let us understand these phases one by one in detail. Menstrual phase. This menstrual phase, it is also called as a destructive phase. Destructive phase. अब menstrual phase को destructive phase क्यों बुला रहे? Here, in this phase, at this phase particularly, the endometrial wall of the uterus, if you recall the female reproductive system, in female reproductive system, there is a uterus, and that uterus is lined with 3 different layers. Outer layer is perimetrium, middle layer is myometrium, inner layer is endometrium, and this endometrium is highly vascularized and it is highly glandular layer. So, during the menstrual phase, the progesterone level is low. During menstrual phase, the progesterone level is low. Due to this low level of progesterone, endometrium breaks. Endometrium breaks. अब एंडोमेट्रियम लेयर टूट रहा, ब्रेक हो रहा. जैसे ही एंडोमेट्रियम लेयर ब्रेक हुआ, देयर इज अ वेजाइनल ब्लीडिंग. वेजाइना से ब्लीडिंग होना शुरू हो रहा. देयर इज अ वेजाइनल ब्लीडिंग. वेजाइनल ब्लीडिंग. वेजाइना से ब्लड निकलना शुरू हो गया. वेजाइनल ब्लीडिंग. अब वेजाइना से ब्लड क्यों निकल रहा? बिकॉज ऑफ लो लेवल ऑफ progesterone hormone. This low level, it breaks the endometrial wall. As a result of that, there is a vaginal bleeding. That is why here the endometrium is getting destroyed. For that reason, it is called as a destructive phase. Now, this menstrual phase, it is for day 1 up to day 5. डे 1 से शुरू होके डे 5 तक चलता. टोटल मेंस्ट्रुअल साइकिल कितने दिनों का है? 28 to 29 days. तो शुरुआती दिनों में there is a vaginal bleeding, there is a blood comes out through the vagina. Now, second phase, follicular phase. The name itself giving the meaning. Follicular phase. During this phase, follicles are formed. अब ये फेज में क्या बन रहे हैं? फॉलिकल्स बन रहे हैं, इसीलिए हम इसको फॉलिक्यूलर फेज बोल के बुला रहे हैं. टू हैव द सिंथेसिस और टू हैव द प्रोडक्शन ऑफ फॉलिकल्स, वी नीड अ पर्टिकुलर हार्मोन. It is follicle stimulating hormone. Here FSH level is high at this phase. As a result of high level of FSH, primary follicle is getting developed into secondary follicle. Secondary follicle is getting developed into tertiary follicle, and ultimately tertiary follicle develops into a Graafian follicle. This Graafian follicle, it is also called as mature follicle, in which we have the ovum. How is the Graafian follicle structure? This is the Graafian follicle structure, my dear friends. At the center, we have the ovum located here, and this is the cavity which is called as antrum, and they are the germ hill cells. We have discussed all these structures in our previous videos. Now this Graafian follicle is the mature follicle. Mature follicle. So from day 1 to day 5, it is a bleeding stage. It is a menstrual phase. And from day 5 to up to 13th day, it is the follicular phase. During this period, from day 5 to day 13, the primary follicle is getting developed into secondary, tertiary, and ultimately the Graafian follicle is formed at the day 13th. 13वें दिन तक 13th day को completely Graafian follicle बन के ready phase हो रहा था. Now on the 14th day, the Graafian follicle get ruptured. It get ruptured, and this ovum comes out. Or it is also called as secondary oocyte or ootid. When the ovum comes out by rupturing the Graafian follicle on the 14th day, that phase is called as ovulatory phase. Ovulatory phase is on 14th day of menstrual cycle. 14th day of menstrual cycle. What is happening here? In this period, ovulation takes place. What is ovulation? Recall my previous lectures. Ovulation means release of ovum from the ovary is called as ovulation. तो menstrual cycle के 14th day को ओवरी से एक एग रिलीज हो रहा. एक ओवरी से एक एग हर महीना रिलीज होता. हर महीना 14th day of menstrual cycle को एक ओवरी से एक एग रिलीज हो रहा. That is called as ovulation. Now during ovulation, the amount of FSH and LH, these two hormones, FSH and LH, they are at peak level. मतलब during ovulation phase, FSH और LH का concentration फीमेल की बॉडी में सबसे ज्यादा रहता. पीक लेवल पे रहता. So FSH and LH are at its peak level. We'll understand how it is at the peak level in our next video. Now after the 14th day, ovum get released from the Graafian follicle. Graafian follicle से ovum जैसे release हुआ, now it is no more here. Now this structure, it is called as carpus luteum. It is called as what? Carpus luteum. That carpus luteum is formed. Carpus luteum is formed after the 14th day. After the release of the egg, this structure is called as carpus luteum. Now it is no more called as Graafian follicle. Now this structure lost the ovum. अब ये स्ट्रक्चर पहले क्या था? ग्राफियन फॉलिकल था. ग्राफियन फॉलिकल से जैसे ही एग लुट गया, जैसे ही लुट गया, अब ये लुटेसो स्ट्रक्चर को ल्यूटियम बोल रहे। ल्यूटियम लुटा हुआ स्ट्रक्चर। क्या लुटाया हुआ स्ट्रक्चर? एग को लुटाया हुआ स्ट्रक्चर। इट इज कॉल्ड एज कार्पस ल्यूटियम। कार्पस ल्यूटियम इज फॉर्म्ड एट द ल्यूटियल फेस। And this carpus luteum, it secretes an enzyme. What is the name of the enzyme that gets secreted by the carpus luteum? It is progesterone. Progesterone gets secreted. Now, low level of progesterone leads to the breakdown of the endometrial wall, whereas high level of progesterone, it repairs the endometrium. It repairs the endometrium. So, here there is a high level of progesterone gets secreted by the carpus luteum. And this carpus luteum, it is also called as secretory phase. Why it is called as secretory phase? Because here progesterone is getting secreted. That is why it is called as secretory phase. They are the 4 different phases of menstrual cycle. If I represent all these 4 phases of menstrual cycle, and let us write what is the time period of this luteal phase. Luteal phase starts from the day 15th up to 29th day. 29th day. If I represent all this information in a menstrual cycle, let us draw a cycle here. Let us draw a cycle. This is supposed to be the menstrual cycle. ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ menstrual cycle ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು ಋತುಚಕ್ರಗಳು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Okay? Now, here let me write the days of menstrual cycle. To complete one menstrual cycle, we need 28 to 29 days. It is day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Okay? Consider this is a menstrual cycle. Menstrual cycle begins from day 1 to day 5. This day 1 to day 5, this phase, it is called as menstrual phase, first phase. During this phase, there is a bleeding. There is a vaginal bleeding. From day 6 to day 13, it is called as follicular phase. And this follicular phase, it is also called as proliferative phase. Here we have a very important day, 14th day. 14th day, the middle of the menstrual cycle, 14th day. On the 14th day, secondary oocyte released. Secondary oocyte released. Hence, this one day, it is not a phase, it is just a 1 day period during which the egg is getting released. This phase, it is called as ovulatory phase. And from day 15 again up to the 28th day, it is called as luteal phase or secretory phase. After completing the 28 days, again the menstrual cycle continues. Again the day 1 comes, again there is a bleeding. Again there is a primary follicle is formed, secondary follicle is formed, again there is a egg development, and that egg is getting released on the 14th day, and this cycle continues up to the 50 years. After completing the 50 years, the menstrual cycle stops. That is called as menopause. I hope you people have got an idea about the menstrual cycle. This is just an introductory class to the menstrual cycle. We'll understand some more detailed concepts of the menstrual cycle in our next video. Thank you so much.